I'm Anna. I work at Leith Theatre and I have done now since 2017, and I am a finance and funding manager. So I think it's quite commonly known that Leith Theatre was gifted to the people of Leith and has been closed for pretty much half of its life. Because this theatre had been shut for so many years, it was really dusty and dirty and full of stuff. So actually that made it a real ripe picking for the Hidden Door to come. We're taking the organ bar down today because we have taken some of the side corridor bits down that have been subdividing for storage. So there's some timber work behind that needs to be looked at, and that means that the plaster has to come down. And unfortunately, the bar is attached to all of that plaster work. The dismantling of this bar is it's a difficult thing to think about, and we want to give it the care and attention that it needs. So actually, although it has to come down and that's a shame, it's an opportunity for the building because it means that the building is finally getting the care that it needs for its future.
I'm David Sibbering, and I built the organ bar in Leith Theatre. The organ bar installation was a special thing that came about really as a piece of luck, being in the right place at the right time. I had been to the Hidden Door Festival a couple of times, so I knew about it, and me and a friend had heard that that you could go and pitch to build a bar for the festival. I didn't really know what that entailed, but we decided that it sounded like something that we wanted to do. I met Roland just through the festival for the first time. Roland had contacted them in a similar way to me, and he had just said that he was available, he was interested in working with them, and whether there was any project that was suitable, really.
I'm a self-employed artist and a furniture maker. I'm here because I was involved in the build for this organ bar behind me. I was contacted by David Martin, who is the brains behind Hidden Door Festival. The festival is characterised by using the debris and the bits and pieces of the buildings which are there to begin with and trying to make something of them.
A pro joinery team had basically said they'll do it as a gift to Hidden Door. But at the last minute, so I say about 3 weeks before the festival, they pulled out, said they couldn't do it. So that's when I got a phone call from them, because we're starting to basically turn up and volunteer for them. And they said, well, look, these guys have pulled out. Do you want to do the organ bar? And I said, yes, straight away.
When we arrived in the building, we were confronted by this organ in the middle of the floor. We thought, what on earth are we going to do with that? But David was very keen for us to use that. And we had to then think, well, how on earth can we convert this thing into a bar?
I love working with reclaimed materials. I mean, it excites me to try and create something out of like found objects.
The first thing we did was take the whole organ apart and completely deconstruct it into individual pieces. After that, we started to have ideas about how we could design something that was going to function as a bar but also look quite interesting.
Leith Theatre is a round space. You know, if you haven't seen it, everything in there is curved. So the bar automatically had to be a curved bar for me. You can't just cut through an object like that. It's got cast iron in it, it's got lead in it, it's got just other types of steel, it's got hardwoods, softwoods, you've got keys, you've got bone. It's a complex object, but seeing it laid down on the floor, I could really get a sense of all the different parts of this amazing, huge device all laid out in front of me. I got a sense that this, if it was ordered in some way, it could really be quite an exciting thing to look at.
Dave came in one morning after a sleepless night, and he'd been torturing himself thinking about what on earth he was going to do with these components. He knew it was going to be a curve, but he wasn't quite sure how to incorporate these individual pieces that we now see are forming the fan on the ceiling. He had this brainwave of suspending them from the ceiling to reflect the shape of the bar below. Once we decided, which was a great idea, he then had to technically decide how he was going to execute that. And luckily he has a mathematics background, so he was able to do lots of really complicated calculations, because the ceiling being curved means that each length from the wire that suspends each element was a different level. So he had to work all that out in advance to make sure that the fan was all consistent and hanging at the same level. So technically, I remember that being a huge challenge, trying to work that out.
I was just really, really pleased the way it came off, the way it looked. I think everyone was, and it was a team effort.
I think it's probably really unusual in that we still have a piece of Hidden Door structure still alive.
It's wonderful to see the bar still up and still being used years after the original festival, because most of the things that are made for Hidden Door are not expected to last beyond the 2 weeks that the festival runs.
We're going to save all the bits that is possible and store it for now, and ideally we want to make another piece of artwork out of the pieces so that we can keep it and we can still reference our beginnings. We are trying to deliver a long-term vision for this building, for the city, as a music, performance space, multi-arts venue. We're really excited by the fact that we've got a long-term vision for the space, and I think the city needs a venue of this kind. There's a venue here and it's going to be great.